Welcome back to Digital Devil Saga. Last time we defeated all 4 Archangels and unlocked Michael's Dragon Slayer mantra, and this time I have to manually make my way out of this dungeon because there is no large Karma terminal at the end, so see you later. Though I can start customizing the quick ring with some more agility gems. Have we actually seen Heavy Rock before? Well, that's what it looks like. Now it's finally time to head to the airport. Eagle would be proud.
Okay, that's as far as you go.
What? Why?
You've still got stuff to do.
The Karma Society will be gone. You'll be needed here. There is one other thing. Back in the junkyard, I killed a noble warrior. Your father.
Roland told me. But I don't hate you. You guys taught me something important. We're comrades.
Yes. Comrades.
Let's get going then. We wouldn't want to miss the fireworks, now would we?
Yet more evidence that Gale is the best dad. Yeah, that is one thing that we haven't quite figured out. Some of the people like Looper, they're not actually fully explained, but Gale, I do feel like there are reasons why Sarah maybe knew him. Of course, the out-of-universe reason is that Gale was created specifically to give dialogue when Surf became a silent protagonist, but still. Like always, there's just not many people to talk to in front of dungeons anymore, so let's begin. The airport, which just reminds me of how, like, apparently it became a meme online in America for people to just be dumbfounded by how Australians pronounce the word airport in Bluey. I do not know why, but anyway, we have a small Karma terminal here. Not a large one at the start. However, you don't really need one. By the time you reach this point... oh, actually, wait a minute, I forgot to get new mantras for everyone. Probably should do that. Just remembered that I promised I'd do that at the next episode. But anyway, by the time you reach this point, you probably have done most of your backtracking. If you haven't, make sure you do it now. I actually may need Mediarama or more people going forward. Sarah's still working on Ice Master. Gale can hit up the next of these. Arcane gives Dark Mirage, which is a double evasion debuff. Also, Null Mute's over here for some reason. But CLO's not weak to that anymore, so it's not that vital that he goes to this direction of the grid. Speaking of, okay, I guess I can go for Zeodyne and Elec Amp on Cielo. In fact, there's going to be a lot of enemies in this dungeon that are weak to electricity, and that's it. Only 4 people to care about mantras on. So, the airport is both simple and complex at the same time. It is based off of a real building, so its general layout isn't too obtuse to navigate. But there are a decent number of little side passages, multiple floors, and also a couple of semi-tough bosses too. This place partly feels like a victory lap and also partly just the beginning. It's a kind of a weird dungeon in my mind. Also, I feel like this place, I don't know if it's based off anywhere real, but it does remind me of some of the airports that I've seen in South and Southeast Asia, which definitely fits the Hinduism aesthetic for this game. Now, you may notice there haven't been any random encounters yet. Once again, this is going to be one of those places where they justify random encounters a little later into the dungeon, so I would recommend grabbing that chest before that happens. Yeah, the music just gives this great sense of haste, but also almost, it has a sort of a mystical feel to it as well. And they're still going for capturing Sarah, even though gameplay-wise, they'll still knock her HP down to 0, like, yeah. These are Jenna Angel's soldiers. This is an interesting dialogue choice. It is a sad situation to think of, the fact that we are really just forced to kill other humans one last time. But for some reason, Jenna just doesn't want us to stop the world's destruction. I guess that's reason enough to fight. The fact there's multiple floors makes my maps a little hard to read too. And here we go, first encounter. We have Gurulu along with, you Persona 3 fans are going to love who this is. In fact, I'll scan her immediately. Yep, we have Nyx as a basic encounter. She's also in Nocturne, but ever since then, I feel like the SMT series doesn't use Nyx as much. Anyway, Bufudyne, Cold Wave, Zeodyne, she has Dorminer and Calm Death, which is kind of scary. Repel Elec, Null Ice and Death, strong against ailments, weak to fire though. Nyx is one of the primordial goddesses in Greek mythology, one of the offspring of Chaos, the primordial existence before everything else, along with the mother of Thanatos, Hypnos, and Moros. I did all of that off of memory just because, yeah, I know Nyx that well. From a combination of both Persona 3 and also Hades. The Hades take on Nyx is quite interesting. Are we seriously gonna end up eating Nyx? Oh, also, Nyx makes some very strange sounds in this game. I don't know what they were thinking when they went with her voice. It's like they had whoever voiced her gargle a lot before doing... Oh, they must have had a really sore throat at the time. Anyway, this is actually Gurulu. It was mistranslated as Gur in earlier Shin Megami Tensei games. Repel Force and Death, Null, Earth and Poison, weak to Gun, and thankfully Elec. They have some pretty strong moves too. The enemies aren't really messing around at this point. High counter, so be careful of physical attacks. Gurulu or Gur Yaksha is an evil carnivorous eagle that feeds on flesh in Sri Lankan Buddhism. It's often considered a demonization of the Hindu Garuda, because Sri Lankan Buddhism and Hinduism have typically been at odds. Okay, I've got basically every element on Surf. Do I still have the Jupiter's Fury? I do. Okay, this could be fun. There we go, nice. I'm actually not 100% sure how you get the Jupiter's Fury combo, but it's fun anyway. Yeah, just remember that yellow portion is coming from Surf's Karma Ring, so it's actually, I need more points in order to fully max that stat out. This just reminds me of some old Fire Emblem New Mystery of the Emblem, not New Mystery, regular Mystery of the Emblem guides that a lot of people back in the day used to swear by, but they're probably considered not great now. But like, just because somebody's maxed out a stat mounted doesn't mean it's max dismounted. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, like, max stats in that game, but anyway. Yeah, you can get groups of 3 Nixes, but let's take out our, well, I'm gonna take out my frustrations on Nix for ruining so many of my Persona 3 streams by literally exploding them. That is still such a weird noise. Okay, you are probably down to Devour level. No, not quite, okay. Well, that was a Devour. Can I Devour you? Okay, yeah, that's bad. Normally, you don't want to leave Nix alive because Dormant Calm Death is pain. In the first game, you didn't encounter that until the final dungeon, but this is like sort of almost vaguely final dungeon-ish. You'll see. It's our final dungeon in one respect, at least. But yeah, that pathway only leads to a chest, so the other, so we need to go this way. It's the magical flying cow! I mean, considering what the mythology of it is, though, it's pretty justified. This is Nandi. Actually a bull. I mean, I probably should have been able to tell by the horns. For some reason, in my head, I always thought of Nandi as female, but no, it's male. Archidyne, Pterodyne, Mahamaon, Medea Rahan, that's kind of annoying. Weak to Death and Charm, though. Drains Fire and Earth nulls Expel. Nandi is a sacred bull ridden by the god Shiva in Hindu mythology. Its duty is to play music for Shiva, who's known as the Lord of the Dance, to dance to. Okay, how about this? I specifically put a skill on Gale just for this purpose. Fatal Charm. I mean, it worked well when Gabriel used it. Let's see how it works against the enemy. Okay, we got both of them Charm. That's cool. And Nandi has Medea Rahan. Okay. I would have appreciated if you didn't do that, though, because that would have, because I could have potentially devoured that. Whoops. Oh, and you're no longer... It's funny... Wow, I survived with exactly 1 HP and then went down anyway. It is still kind of funny how Nandi makes that weird wiggling animation. But okay, let's Fatally Charm you again. It doesn't do very much damage, though. I mean, that's probably to compensate for Charm being such a strong ailment, but still. I'd appreciate a little more damage out of that. Okay, so Alekin and Ice are fine. It's just Earth and Fire that get drained. And not doing anything. Reuses the same cow noises as some other demons, but still. Look at that agility stat. Oh, Dakasha Rock is not a bad item to be getting at this point. Okay, yeah, there's a force encounter here. If there was some kind of, like, Thracia 776 capturing system, I can imagine these enemies trying to go for captures against Sarah rather than killing her. Or, you know, like in Fire Emblem Genealogy, where the enemy's trying to take Daedra, I still don't know how to pronounce that well, alive, and therefore if she runs out of HP, she just gets captured rather than killed. But yeah, this game doesn't really do anything like that, so the game just treats battles the same as normal. It would have been interesting if, like, you know, the enemy reacted a little differently to Sarah, considering that canonically they are supposed to be trying to take her alive. But I'm still glad that she's a full-on party member now. So yeah, you'll often see treasure chests on the other side of these gateways, and there aren't really ways you can open these up. Okay, good, you got afraid. That means I can om-nom-nom you, probably. There we go. Yeah, 1 hit and 1 frightened Devour is enough to get you, whereas non-frightened Devour, not so much. Okay, there is a gap in the fence here, though. Okay, I believe if we go this way, we're going to be immediately stopped by a gate. Yeah, there we go. So we can see a preview of a chest on the other side of this. Oh, right, this stairway is inoperable. That makes sense. We have Rungda here, untransformed. It's going to be kind of hard to take her out, though. Rangda is an evil witch from Balinese lore and the nemesis of Barong. Pretty common recurring demon in Shin Megami Tensei, and she often repels physical. Here she also repels guns and fire. Null Earth, strong against ailments, weak to elect. There are a lot of elect weak enemies in this dungeon. Yeah, they really wanted you to use Cielo in DDS2. Arcanine and Arcanine are also a thing. Also, Debilitate. So, the main reason why Rangda often has Debilitate in this series, I believe you still have to change rings, so I think I should have still have press turns after that. The reason why Rangda often has Debilitate in most of its appearances in the series is that in Japanese, the name of the skill is Randomized, but it's written like Randamaizu, and it actually kind of looks like Rangda. I do like how Nyx sings when she attacks. So yeah, that's the main reason. Now, all targeting fire attacks, probably not a great idea while Rangda is around. I feel like Rangda's actually weak to electricity in a lot of games. Okay, now might be a good time to show this off. Yeah, unlike Frozen... oh, actually, that's kind of bad. Thankfully, she didn't do that twice. Unlike being frozen, being stunned does not remove physical resistances or immunities. However... another thing to show off here, Devour skills scale off your strength stat, but they're not considered physical. So any enemy that repels physical is still vulnerable to Devour skills. That might be useful to keep in mind. I mean, it's kind of late to be going into those mechanics, but it's pretty much the first time that's really been relevant in this game, given that, you know, an enemy that outright repels physical is fairly rare. So this is actually our only option, but we'll need to come back once we have access to the other side of that... well, we'll need to be able to get to that gate from above later on. I believe back here just leads to some treasure. I love having Jupiter's Fury as a combo skill. Especially when everything on the field is weak to electricity. Not sure I'll use that muscle ring. So the doors that look like this typically just lead to single rooms like this. That sometimes have chests in them. But these do look like some kind of story. Again, like, I've always loved the idea of dungeons that, like, that take after real places. And look, we've got a map of the real world there, including Australia. Which, you know, we already knew from the opening cutscene showing the world, but Digital Devil Saga takes place in a world very much like our own. That just happens to have, you know, a lot of, crazy mythological influences, and also the sun being God, and also everything being made up of data. So yeah, it definitely has that similar kind of urban fantasy to a lot of the rest of the franchise. I only just noticed that Rangda also makes a weird sound when it dies. I feel like Sarah should be pretty close to maxing out her mantra, and that's good because we're approaching a save point. Unfortunately, devouring the primordial goddess of night and darkness did not give us enough to get that. But this fight might. Okay, 2 Rangdas. Debilitate is annoying, but I mostly just want to show this fight because we can Jupiter's Fury again. Still not quite enough. One more encounter should do it. Yeah, it's a little hard to describe why I like Digital Devil Saga, the duology, a lot more than a lot of the other games in the franchise. I believe you guys are weak to guns, actually. Yeah, there's a curse bullet. I think it's... yeah, Sarah's the one with Gospel, clearly. Okay, high counter does work on guns, good to know. Wow. Wow, that's a lot on a critical. There we go, now we have Ice Master, Bufudine, Cold Wave, and Ice Amp. I'm currently using Fire Boost on Surf and Ice Boost on Sarah, but now I can go Boost Amp on Sarah. Boost Amp Dine. Feels a little late to be getting a Dine skill. I think it's roughly around a similar level that we got those in the first game. Pretty sure there's nothing in this room, though. Yes, there is nothing. And Surf's Frailty is... I'm pumping up Surf's endurance quite a... vitality quite a lot, so he shouldn't be this frail. But, oh, right, okay, he does have the aggro drawing ring. Maybe I shouldn't do that right now. Because, yeah, I've since learned the Calamity Ring, and this is really annoying, honestly. It doesn't work on bosses that have specific targeting AI. It only draws aggro from random targeting AI. Okay, the speeding ring is good for random encounters, but we're going to be running into a boss soon, so I don't think I'll be using that. Sarah has Ice Master, and from there... Okay, we got a secret mantra, which we didn't have before, but this one's just stat boosts. You can tell by the shape. Magic by 3 on the whole party is nice, though. Okay, so she can jump into the ailment tree. So she go for Ice God, Mabufudine and Ice Resist, which she doesn't need because she already has that resistance, but that'll get her closer to the ultimate Ice skills. Or I can go for even stronger Fire skills. I think she'll actually start working on Fire. For this upcoming boss, the fact that we just got Ice Amp and Bufudine is going to be very useful, but... I'll put Sarah first, then Surf, then Gale. And for Gale, this is going to be weird, but I'm going to put on a bunch of just basic physical attack improvers. Sukukaja along with Sarah's Mind Charge will give us the charge combo. So, this fight is very strange. It's kind of a check to see if you're building up any party members towards physical attacks. Because really the main elements that will work on the main boss are just physical and almighty. This gate is locked from the other side, so nothing much we can do with it for now. But if we go through this door, thankfully this game warns you about bosses. There's a strong presence. Oh boy, yeah, it really is strong. This one actually messed with me on my first playthrough, because again, it's a bit of a check for physical, and I don't typically spec Surf or Sarah towards physical attacks. And I usually only invest in physical mantras on Roland, who's gone, so... Yeah, if you're going physical on Gale, this might be useful here. Yes, Angel's gonna save you by destroying the world and killing you all. Definitely, the greatest savior to be supporting. So yeah, this is Kali. She repels essentially all magic, and nulls ailments, death, and expel. So, like I said, only physical and almighty are the main ways to deal damage to her. And she has this Dakini minion who'll use Fizz Repel, so you can't even use physical. Dakini is thankfully weak to ice, so we can take them out and get more press turns with Bufudine. Kali herself, though, again, this fight can be either very easy or very hard. If you have spec'd, say, Gale towards physical attacks, or have gone with a strength build on Surf and by extension Sarah, this fight might be very easy for you. If not, though, it could be a massive problem. Okay, I guess I could innovate her. Yeah, Kali means the Black One and is a Hindu goddess of time and death. She's sometimes a consort of Shiva and also conflated with Parvati's, for that reason. Okay, do I debilitate or do I charge? I think I'm going to go ahead and charge. Never say no to an all stats buff. So, yeah, Kali is not, like, she doesn't really hit all that hard. It's more that it's just the fact, like, simply doing damage to her is kind of a problem in itself. I guess we're just going to charge again. Let's go with +2 everything. Ki Blast. Yeah, that can crit you, but also it has low accuracy. It didn't work like that in the first Digital Devil Saga, but it does here. Thankfully, the skill description when you use it yourself does specifically say that it has low accuracy. I like that the game is at least gracious enough to give you that luxury. You know what? I am going to charge again to get to maxed out stats. I was about to say she's probably going to summon another Dakini soon, but doesn't seem like she's doing that. Right now, Surf can't really do a whole ton, so I'm going to actually pass so I can Mind Charge and attack with Sarah in the same turn. I've got you innovated. Yeah, let's just attack. Still not a whole ton of damage. Okay, that's what she says when she summons another Dakini, which is fine because we get more press turns off of her. And that took up her whole turn, so no damage from her. Yeah, like, this fight is, let me just check for a moment exactly what her attacks are. Ki Blast. Oh, Gate of Hell. Okay, Gate of Hell can be a little painful. And she also has Mamuda on, so maybe I should have brought Death Repel to this. And I don't have any, like, Death Shield items. Right, yeah, that could actually be unfortunate. Do I have a Debilitate combo with... I do. Let's actually Debilitate here. Because I haven't even Mind Charged with Sarah yet. I don't think Debilitate is going to affect the chances of Mamuda on working, but she's content to just spam physical attacks right now, which is fine by me. Well, no, I am Mind Charged, okay. Yeah, I must have got the Mind Charge in... But no, I hit the Dakini, though. I'm actually drawing a blank as to when exactly I Mind Charged there. Okay, let's just hit you... And hit you again. And then next turn, I'll go for both the Mind Charge and there's Gate of Hell. Okay, I do have Disstones, thankfully. And Gale is now Rock. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do the Mind Charge and attack in the same turn combo because Surf is going to need to unrock Gale. Yeah, I bought a lot of these. The 16 is probably overkill at this point. Stone's a fairly rare ailment. But yeah, let's get that Megadome Mind Charge in the same turn. Yeah, this is a cool thing about the press turn system, the fact that you can power or Mind Charge and get an attack off in the same turn. Oh yeah, actually, wait, I've got the Skull Ring on Surf, so he repels Death. I was about to call it Dark, but no, it's Death in this game. That's not going to stop Gate of Hell, but it will mean that he can't get petrified by it. So yeah, you pass, you whack. And Sarah goes for Megado. It's kind of rare that you see this particular low health animation out of Kali. Ah! And there she goes. It is kind of funny to me how Kali uses the old lady shadow voice in Persona 5. Yeah, Sarah's getting close to max magic, but only thanks to the rings she's got. Luck. Okay, isn't even in double digits with that. But that was Kali. Now we're in the big escalator room. I love this room. I don't know why. I do like this room quite a lot. Discurse would have been useful to have in that fight. But there's another chest here I have to grab. Okay, this looks like a job for Jupiter's Fury. I do have Jupiter's Fury. The chance of it hitting, like, everything multiple times is kind of rare. But okay, it froze a bunch of them. Well, not froze, but, you know, shocked them. The enemies here are worth a pretty sizable amount of AP, though it will be really great to get an Amoy Carnair encounter here, because that would basically guarantee that I max a lot of my mantras if I get lucky. There are actually some pretty useful items, not just useful, some very vital items to grab in the chest here too. Yeah, up these escalators is a large Karma Terminal. So our first one of these is like around the middle of, actually more like a third of the way through the dungeon. Yeah, the airport is weirdly big, but weirdly small at the same time. So now that we've hit this point, I'm going to take a bit of a detour by going this way. This will lead us to the other side of that earlier, grate. Like, it's one of those, like, shutter, that's the word for it, a shutter. The thing that they drop when a store closes, or in this case, an airport is abandoned. Revival gem's nice to have, but I'm mostly concerned with what is in the chest down there. Annoyingly, one of them got exploded by Jupiter's Fury before I could devour it, so yeah, maybe I shouldn't be using Jupiter's Fury. It's just really fun. I do quite like these strong, random hitting skills. So here we go. Jewel Ring. Oh, I remember this one. This is a very interesting... For some reason, I keep thinking set is equipping items. This is a very interesting ring. Enables 2 consecutive actions. Okay, right now, you have the change ring. Yeah, I'm going to put that on Surf for now. It only has 2 slots, though. This is kind of weird. I want to give it some strength just for some better Devour skills on Surf. And for this, I'll put Surf in slot number 1. Okay, we got a volunteer. Oh, actually, this is a good volunteer. So, Surf has the Jewel Ring. This means he can go twice in one turn. And I missed there, okay. Well, that's a bit of a weird demo. I'll have to wait for the next enemy. Who decided to show up pretty quickly. Okay. So once again, Aguilar Nix. Now Surf gets to go again. I guess he'll Zionga the other one. And now Sarah is going. Actually, it's a little bit easy to demo when I'm not hitting weaknesses. Because this ring does still obey the normal rules of press turns, and that can actually mess you up depending on how you use it.
We have the advantage.
So for example, if I were to use Bufula here, which I'm pretty sure these things are neutral towards, there we go. Yeah, Surf went twice, but both of his actions consume press turns. This can sometimes rob the rest of your party of turns if you aren't, like, hitting weaknesses and getting blinking turns with the dual ring user. So just bear that in mind. Okay, that's actually pretty bad. I sort of wanted to devour them, but now I'm thinking I just use Jupiter's Fury and be done with it. Because that might happen. This is why having two people in the party weak to the same element is bad, but you don't have a shield for it. The enemies in here really do not mess around on hard mode. Also, if you put your dual ring user last in the party, it's entirely possible they might not even have enough press turns, like, left in order to go twice. It's a ring that, I haven't actually seen a lot of research in how it's used, because I don't actually, like, it doesn't seem to be used that much for, like, the super bosses. There are a lot of rings that I do know that are typically used for super bosses, but I don't really hear much, discussed about the dual ring in those fights. Of course, I could be wrong. There's just not a lot of discussion around Digital Devil Saga 2 in general, but, if any of you in the comments are more familiar with uses for the dual ring, please tell me, because it's a cool idea. It's just the fact that it uses, like, consumes press turns just like normal actions do. It's not like you get to act twice within one press turn, basically. Yeah, see that right there, Surf got the Devour rather than Sarah, because, he got the press turn off of using Jupiter's Fury, and then he, with his second, action, got to use Devour. So with the dual ring, I occasionally forget, like, whose, like, action it currently is. Especially when Surf and Sarah have very similar skill sets, so it's easy for me to mistake their menus for each other. In here, there's nothing but a single chest, and some Nixes. We're going to explode. Still love how this skill is literally just called explode. Luck data, huh? I guess I'll just give both to Sarah. Yeah, Miragion might be better if I wanted to devour these. And none of you got frightened, so you're getting exploded anyway. Okay, Sarah's now ahead of the party. Medical gear, remind me that I need to buy more of those at some point. But the power of Ice Boost, Ice Amp, Bufudyne is, well, it might as well be instant death to those cows. So this should bring us into a room with some stairs. So now we're back in the first floor. You loop around a lot between the first and second floors. Oh, I'm gonna just take the retreat here. The enemies in this dungeon, I feel, are a little too dangerous to risk Berserk mode against. Okay, if we go through here, we'll just get a chest. Oh, it's a rare one, too. I guess this is going to be a flower, though. No, it's a bullet. Charm shot. 104 power. Way worse than the gospel, but, I was going to go to surf. You get the neutron shot, and I guess you get curse shot by proxy. Weaving further through these corridors. Weaving further through this very labyrinthine airport. Speaking of labyrinthine airport, this is another one of these useless rooms that's really only here for flavor. I do wish they put more, like, documents you could read in these. They kind of did that in the first dungeon with Timmy's diary, who, by the way, was the guy who got eaten in the internment facility. Oh, okay, here's an interesting aspect about the duel ring. It makes it so that whoever holds it can't really safely pass their turn. If they want to give their turn to the next character, they actually have to give up an entire press turn. Maybe that's why it's not that common against the super bosses, because it kind of ruins pass strategies, which are very common against the super bosses. In fact, there's a karma ring that makes that even easier. I'm sorry, but, like, pot, meat, kettle, please. So, hello there, Flauros. Oh, this is interesting. We swear by the Amala ring given to us by the technical director that we will retrieve the Cyber Shaman, even if we become fiends ourselves. So, one of these two has the Amala ring, which is from being the Demi-Fiend in the original Digital Devil Saga. So, I take it that unless you're, like, you know, cheating with save files, not a lot of players will have access to this. We can't scan Flauros yet, but it's weak to nerve and poison. And did I put that poison move on Cielo? This is also weird. If I go for deploying Cielo here. Yeah, it is still Surf's turn because of the ring, but if he passes, I believe the turn will go to Cielo. Because that's his second action. Yeah, it's just, this ring does mean that you have to do some mental gymnastics with the turns. Here we go, Poison Rain. I've always liked how this skill looks. But yeah, it's allegedly heavy damage and also poison, but I feel like it's doing less than Tentarafu did, which was way earlier in the game. Okay, Flauros repels death, but it doesn't null anything. Maybe, this is probably a fight where we should go for Innovate, though, because they were hitting us very powerfully with physical attacks back there. How about an Agilao? Oh, Spell Gloom. Yeah, that's the other one of the super debuffs. Okay, Death Blow just inflicted Curse. And I can't pass Surf's turn to Cielo without losing two... Yes, again, it's a very double-edged sword. Oh, there goes one of them. Oh, there goes the other. I feel like I overshadowed Cielo there. Also, there was a good demonstration of the fact that if you're cursed and you kill the enemy, you don't take curse damage. But now we have the Amala ring. So you'd think that being the Demi-Fiend, this would be a very, very, very strong ring, right? It gives plus 10 to all stats, which was way more useful, I feel, in Nocturne when stats capped at 30 than, or 40, I think, than here where they cap at 99. Like, by the time you get this, it just feels, and it only has one slot too, it just feels like it's strange. Like, in theory, this should be a very powerful ring, but in practice, it just doesn't feel that strong. You know what, though? The Jewel Ring has confused me enough. I'm going to use the Amala Ring here. Though, with its big all-round boost, it might be a good candidate for one of these +5 to a random stat items. Just don't give me luck, please. You gave me luck, but it was by 7. Due to a high-grade gem, so... that's not the worst thing in the world? Okay, now without Sarah, I may lose access to some of my strongest combos, but Flauros will be a random encounter from here on. Also, we can unlock this door, finally. Which means we have easier access to this large Karma terminal. That way is going to lead to progress, and down here is going to lead to a field hunt, I believe. Okay, I should probably master Calm Spirit before I go for the field hunt. It's a bit of a walk from here to the Karma terminal, but it's probably worth it for the full heal. Okay, we got another little surf while I was waiting for my mantra to max out. And there's Calm Spirit. Medea Armor's mostly going to be for boss fights. Oh, right, because we're going to be getting the Revival Orb from the highest shop level soon, I don't even think I need to go for Rakam. Rakam Dra is nice to have, though. And Fatal Charm hasn't been working out for me. Okay, so actually the Field Hunt is on the other side of another one of these doors that's locked from the other side, so we won't be able to access that for a little bit. Next time on Digital Devil Saga, I am a shadow, the true self. Again?